weekend. First goal for Riley Bree, which must be great for you. But what positives have you taken out of that game heading into this final three?
It was always going to be a really difficult game. I think at any other part of the season, a draw a long way from home against a talented side who are banging form would have been deemed as a really good result. I think the performance, especially second half, was excellent. We created enough chances. It was end to end, but I saw character and personality in my team's performance. It wasn't great first half. It was a little bit of a sparring match, and it sort of wasn't really the performance that I wanted from the off. But I certainly got it from the second half performance. Chances created, and I think we all know that goals change games, and we should have been walking away there with a win, and obviously that affects the table and the standings as it is. So comfortable that we are creating chances, comfortable that we are still in decent form over the past 4 or 5 games. They're not car crash performances, they're not horrific performances where we're getting smashed 3 and 4-0 and we're on the back foot for the majority of games. But we have to turn our decent play into something, execute our decent play with goals. And from the other point of view, anytime a team does have a period of domination, which hasn't been the case. I even look back to counter-attacking team in Huddersfield, and Fulham, who are arguably the best team in the division and have absolutely walked it. Mitrovic has one chance, and I think Bobby Could Reed has a goal or as an opportunity that would have been called offside. So, it's been okay the other way, but it needs to be better than okay. It needs to be clean sheets, and it needs to be goals, and it needs to be wins.
And it is those goals that for so long now just seem to have been Boro's problem. You've got players who can score, but just not often enough. Yeah,
we've not done well enough at the top of the pitch, getting away from it because we've had enough chances. I'm always a little bit reluctant to chuck it all on the forwards, because we do get into great positions. I think if you look at Marcus Tavernier, second half, he's got to score. Tav's got to score. Dijksteel's got to score. We've had opportunities from set pieces, which we haven't done well enough in terms of scoring. But ultimately, the pressure and the onus is on the centre forwards to score, and all of them have had enough chances. Without a shadow of a doubt, they've all had enough game time and enough chances to come up with the goods. And it seems, at times they're just reluctant to really grab that opportunity and say it's me, and that's the reason that we keep flip flopping from player to player. And if they did grab that opportunity, then maybe they would find themselves having more game time.
So now 3 games left. Is this one the season-defining game?
Yeah, 100%. You can't get away from that. And listen, we understand these are big games. We've put us, the players have done fabulously well, because they, I think myself and the coaching staff have squeezed everything out of them. There's still an enormous amount of work to be done medium and long term, and I'll deal with that and speak to you guys when the time is right. It isn't really the time now, because obviously there's still a huge prize that we're going for. But excited about what we can do, and the players that we can attract to the football club in the medium and longer term. But you understand when you get to 3 games and you're still in the mix. And I'll just go back, as I said, in a previous interview. I watched the game last night, and everybody that's involved with Blackburn Rovers. Obviously, Tony's a local guy, and he's a great guy. I really like his company, and I like the way he works. They're a good group. They're a really talented group. Have been there for quite a while. And it was obviously it was a local derby. I think everybody walked away from Deepdale who supported Blackburn really thought that their season was alive and kicking. And from the obvious maths point of view, we win on Wednesday night, which is not a gimme and not a given. We win on Wednesday night, is our season alive and kicking? Well, that puts us a point above them. So, still have a lot to play for. The season is alive. we understand as well. I think we all feel that frustration that we should be in a better position than what we are now, but we're not, and we've got to deal with that. And most importantly, we've got to deal with a huge game on Wednesday, put in a big performance, full of personality, full of character, full of ambition. And if we can do that, I believe we can get a big 3 points.
And on paper, and I know it's obviously not on paper, but they're all teams where they're winnable games. Anyone can beat anyone, but they are winnable on paper, and they're against teams that aren't really playing for anything in terms of relegation or promotion. So does that make it any? Well,
I disagree with you, and I've always disagreed with this sort of attitude. To be a professional footballer, to be a professional coach and manager, Steve Morrison will want to win more than any game of the season. They're on the back of losing the last 3 games of the season. They'll not want to lose 6 on the bounce. He'll want to come. You saw the attitude of the Hull City game. You saw the attitude of the Hull City performance. You saw the Hull City players afterwards and the manager, which I've got absolutely no problem with. That was their biggest game of the season. They had nothing to play for. So it'll be the same. It'll be the same with Cardiff on Wednesday night. It'll be the same against Stoke on Saturday, and it'll be the same at Preston. They've all got something to play for, in my opinion. And no, it'll be no change on Wednesday night. We have got to get ready for Cardiff being their best performance of the season to the Riverside, and we've got to produce one of our best performances of the season to get a big 3 points.
So is it now more mental and psychological than it is tactical?
It's always mental and psychological to win any game of football. So, but of course, when you do come down the final straight, there's pressure in any sport. You tell me a sport that doesn't involve pressure late on into competitions, whether it's tennis, whether it's golf, there's pressure on the first tee on a Thursday morning, but there's pressure on the back nine on a Sunday afternoon. So any sport, when you're in the mix and there's prizes to be handed out and you're late and deep into a season, I think that one of the things that we've got to applaud is that we're in the fight, we're in the competition, and we're late and we're deep into the competition, and with 3 games to go, we know that a win on Wednesday night will put us right back amongst it. And I'm not for playing mind games or spinning everything, but you look at everybody's fixture list and ours included, and I'll take ours included because Stoke will have had a week's preparation on us, a free week, and Preston will want to finish their season on an high in front of their own supporters and lap of honour and go out on a high. We've got tough games, and Cardiff, as I just said, Steve, a young manager. He came into the job early on in the season. They were really having a struggle. I think about 4 or 5 spins on the defeats on the spin, and his remit was to keep him in the division, and he's done that. And he's a young manager who's fighting for his career. So there's all different things that you can chuck into the pot. But we're deep into the season and we're fighting alive and kicking, and a huge performance on Wednesday night and a big win will put us even closer to the teams above us. No, they don't have to do anything they've not done already. For myself personally and the team, I said about myself personally after the game on Saturday, which was obviously a difficult week, but the players have had incredible support right the way through this season, and they understand that, and there shouldn't be. Listen, if we're talking about from a motivational point of view. As I keep saying, they shouldn't really be involved at the football club, and they won't be going forward. So, in a way as well, there's that. I'm reflecting and looking at all the time as well, because if not this year, transfer windows, 1 in the summer, 2 in January, and 2-year deal that I'm sat on, is one that I'm driven to have success in. So, in a way as well, short term, of course, looking at the team's performance and wanting them to play well and getting the tactical and technical stuff right. But as this group got the mentality, when the going gets tough, to come through it and produce the goods, because it will have to in the next 2 years, because the team will be in those sort of positions that we are in now.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Just what's the injury situation, Chris? Have you any additional problems?
No. Tav, we're expecting to train this morning. He rolled his ankle on Saturday. He'll be fine. And Delphi, we're hoping that he trains this morning and makes himself available for Wednesday night. And if he doesn't, he'll be definitely available for the weekend.
You go into every match expecting to and trying to win it. Does the mindset change at all when it gets to this stage and there aren't many games left and now you kind of have to win?
Well, no, because we have gone in after every game and tried to win, and nothing will change. It didn't change on Saturday. I think at times you understand our game and it ebbs and flows, and sometimes if you're on the back foot, you might have to say, well, you know what, we might have to take a point here today and move on because we've not been at our best, and the opposition's been better than us, and the timing of it and the state of play in the division. But my attitude has never really changed from a start of a game, in terms that we're here to win, whether it's Fulham at home, whether it's Fulham away, whether it's Bournemouth away. We didn't go 4-5-1, 5-4-1, hit them on the counter attack, hope that the opposition don't score and hit the post and do this, and hope our goalkeeper makes some saves, and what we'll do is we'll go the other end and score off a set piece. So that's the attitude of the team, is to go and attack, but expect to be pushed back as well. So they'll have their moments on Wednesday, but I'm expecting us to really get after Cardiff and go and get the win that we're all after.
You mentioned earlier on that no one's particularly stood up to sort of carry the goal-scoring burden, but that opportunity is actually still there, isn't it, for somebody to
Somebody can be an hero, yeah, of course they can, and they all can, and they've all got to play the part. We need big performance from everybody. We need, as I said before, personality and character. We all want to be involved. They all want to play at the top level. We all want to be involved at the top level. To get to the top level, to play at the top level, you have to have personality, you have to have character, you have to come up with the big moments when the pressure's on. And I keep saying, going back to the golf, the reason that the top golfers are there is, there's not much difference, I should imagine, between the top 500 golfers in the world. But there is, if that makes sense. There is, when coming down, as we talked about, the home straight on a Sunday afternoon, or getting themselves in a position to win tournaments, and that's what makes the difference. And our boys have got to show that to make the difference between now and the end of the season, because I don't think there'll be anything in any game between now and the end of the season. Tomorrow night, Stoke or Preston, from our point of view, the two Sheffield United games, I think they're going to be tight affairs, away at QPR and at home to Fulham. Blackburn's games, Millwall's games, Luton's games, they're all going to be tight, but as I said, it's those who produce the big moments are going to flourish and will deserve to be in the end of season playoffs. And if we do, then we deserve, and if we don't, then there's a reason for that, and we won't have deserved our place in it.
Good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
Sorry, could I just? Is Matt Crooks still suspended? Or?
He is. Yeah, he's away. He's away. He can't play the Wednesday, but he's available for Saturday.
But and it's often not necessarily the players. So Jordan Rhodes, who scored obviously the other week when he was at Boro, I think everyone would say didn't have the greatest spell at Boro, and yet he's a bit of a cult hero because he scored 2 goals in the last 10 minutes of a game at Bolton right at the end of the season, got them up. When you were at Sheffield United, were there moments like that? Were there moments where players who you might not necessarily have expected kind of came in and wrote themselves into the fabric?
Yeah, I think I think you'll look back and reflect if you've succeeded. That's the only time you can do it and say that was a big moment, or that was a big goal, or that was a big save. Yeah. And I think you can go through and analyse every season that you've been successful in. Of course you can. And that's what possibly defines success, isn't it? It's the big moments, and I think that's possibly, the why we find ourselves in this situation is because we haven't produced enough big moments in the last 4 or 5 games. We set it up great, Peterborough game set it up great. We were from the bookies' point of view, we were really fancied, and we've just not found enough big moments. Nothing's changed from an attitude point of view for me in terms of you know, the messages to the players. There's nothing been really changed in terms of the tactical approach. You know, we believe the system that we play is good in and out of possession. It causes problems for teams, and it's from a structural point of view, you know, it's not an open structure that allows teams to create. It's just to find moments right the way through. Whether you know, going back to the Fulham game, like we talked about, the organisation point of view, that's a big moment and a big save. You know, on the other end, you know, you look through that, you know, it's 4 or 5 really good chances, and it just changes attitudes and mindsets. So, you know, I understand. You know, we're not in the place where I'd like us to be in terms of position, even though I've come in and we've come in you know, sort of mid-season, and maybe from an emotional point of view, we're not in a great place. But we have to get ourselves out of that, you know, and we can only get ourselves out of that. And I think, you know, and I'm not, you know, I'm not, it's not ashamed to say it, but I liked Blackburn last night. I really liked them. I think they're a good side. I think Tony's a great guy. He's a great character, and he's a proper football man. He doesn't spin it. You know, I see some of the managers, some of the nonsense that they come out with. You know, they're bad losers and they're bad winners. You know, Tony has been in the game a long time as a player. We all know his career, but he's humble. He gets on with the job. You saw him last night. He's not knee sliding on the pitch and jumping about. Yeah. And his team, since the turn of the season, you know, has not had some great results. They've obviously lost Beren Diaz. They've got him back, but I thought their performance last night was a marker for us, really. You know, because they've had a poor time. They've not scored any goals. I think they've scored 6 in 15 and they scored 4 in an heartbeat. But I thought the attitude of their team, and like I said, they're all walking out off the pitch and walking away from Deepdale last night, firmly believing they're right in the mix. And I want that feeling on Wednesday night. And if we do show a performance of personality and character, and quality, because we have got that quality, because we've shown it this season. You know, not all the time, but I'm a demander, but I don't think you always get it all of the time at this level. It's the reason that we're in the position. I'd like more consistency, of course, but you know, I enjoyed watching them last night. I really did, and I looked and thought, you know, if we can have that feeling and show that type of performance, then we're back in the mix. We weren't expected to be in the mix when we took over, and we are. So we deserve a small pat on the back for that. But it's a business end. Can we produce that type of character performance? And going back to your question, we have players that can score. You know, Blackburn have got players that can score, but have not found the net. But all of a sudden, one game, you know, all of a sudden they take their chances, they take their big moments, and the whole feel of the place goes from feeling a little bit flat and down to get themselves up there. We've got to get out of this situation because it is understandable, and I think everybody would expect that as well. That you know we're not really feeling great about ourselves at the moment, but we take a big moment. If we'd have took a big moment on Saturday, we'd have feeling a lot better getting back up the road. And if we take our moments on Wednesday night, I'm sure that there'd be a great feeling going into work on Thursday, looking forward to an incredible game on Saturday, only if we get the job done on Wednesday.
I'm going to ask you this. You're going to tell me it's a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
So when you were thinking about it, you thought this was going to be a stupid question. Shall I ask him or not?
Well, how would you respond to the argument, Boro, it's too soon for Boro to go up? That because of the weaknesses you've talked about, that actually, if they go up, they're going to have a hell of a job, and actually, you could do with another season to build in the Championship and get a.
I think we've got a big job on anyway. Right. So regardless if we go up or not, but I've got to say, if that door opens, I'd be inclined to step through it. Yeah. Through a lot of things. Yeah. And even if it is, you know, listen, stupid question. Sorry, mate. Fair enough. But I do understand what you're saying, but I still think we've got, you know, there's still a biggish job to do, and I will I will have, we will talk at the end of the season, and possibly we'll get a couple of beers out, and I'll talk through to everybody who wants to be here. They might not want to listen to my voice and listen to what I'm going to say, but I will talk about reflecting on sort of a 6 months and showing and guiding or speaking about what potentially where this can go and what we're trying to do on a lot of fronts, from a leadership point of view, from a mentality point of view, because we're going to be in this position again. We're going to be in this position next year. And I don't want to miss out. I don't want to be nearly men. We still have an opportunity of not being nearly men, but I don't want to be nearly man. I don't want to be unlucky and this, that and the other. It's been a good effort. Don't want good efforts. Don't want excuses. Just want to get the job done, and I feel we will do. But if the door opens this season, we got, we'll have shown some incredible qualities between now and the end of the season to get there.
And just one on Riley, because obviously he through no fault of his own, he had a little bit of a disrupted start, didn't he? He had the COVID, he had the international stuff, it was a little bit stop-start, but he certainly seems now to be really finding his feet and showing, what you saw in him and what you feel he's always been able to bring. Yeah,
he had a mad half an hour against Hull, where he was like, try to win a game on his own. I don't mind that, because it shows that he takes the responsibility, and he's one that I can rely on. And we all talk about, when the bullets are flying, who's going to stand up, and it's not always a big tackle or a big header. It's being brave and wanting the ball and enjoying the ball, and he enjoys the ball and wants the ball. I thought his pass to Aaron Connolly was brilliant. I think he's more to come from him, but I think people have seen glimpses of what he's all about. He's got courage on the ball, and he's good on it as well. And looking forward to working with him for a long time.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Just picking up on that, Chris, I would imagine then that kind of midfield, those 2 positions, is kind of like how you want the whole squad to look. If you can next season, you've got 4 players there competing, all very good technical players. When one's out of the team like Matt Crooks, another one steps in, and that gives you problems, in terms of selection.
Yeah, I don't really want to be moving players from one position to the other to fill in. I don't really want my right wing back to be playing left wing back. I don't really want to be changing formations. I want us to be the best we can at our formation. If we have to tweak things tactically, the small details, if we have to tweak things during a game to go for it or to see a game out, then we have to be good enough. I think we've shown that we are. We've got that tactical nous to do that. But I want us to be the best at how we play. I think the supporters have seen it's an exciting way of playing. We create chances, but the biggest thing is that we don't want to create chances. We don't want to, majority of the time dominate the ball. We want to be an effective football team, but we want to be a winning football team. I think that's the biggest thing. And in that, you need competition for places, you need experience of the league, you need leaders, men, you need balance of left footers and right footers, you need clean sheets, you need goals, you need goals from set plays. There's a list I've got of 20 things that is sort of a basic layout of, have we got that? No, I've got it upstairs. I've done it over the last how many years, whatever job it is. These characteristics are needed to be successful. There's some that you can't control, like injuries to big players, or you might lose a player through a sale or something like that. But if you get the majority, if you're ticking all these boxes off, you give yourself a good chance, in my view, what I want it to be. Team players, experience of the league, pace. There's all sorts of stuff. Quite generic, but it's a good indicator. And now, if I'm looking at it now, I'm saying we've got quite a long way to go, honestly. And that, what I would say is, I think really from that point of view, give an enormous amount of credit for the players and what they're doing at this moment, because there's certain things that still obviously need to be done for us to get it to where it needs to be.
Yeah, and you mentioned last week the meetings you had with Steve Gibson and Kieran Scott, etc. I guess that list came into it then. You were saying we need all of this in the summer.
Definitely, yeah. There's what we need to do. Said about Rockcliffe and what we need to do, and it's not huge, changes to the infrastructure. It's a fabulous training ground. It's got club's got an incredible amount of stuff going for it. But we do need to be really active in the transfer market in key areas, and there's some targets out there. As we talked about, I had a really good meeting with Steve, in terms of the medium and longer term view of the football club, and what we can do to build on, which has been a decent start, decent 6 months, and hopefully even better word than decent if we come out the last 3 games of the season.
Yeah, going back to the strikers and someone making themselves a hero. Obviously, Flo Balogun didn't get on Saturday, and I'm sure he was disappointed about that. I guess his reaction to that now has got to be when he can get on, to make an impact.
The reaction to everybody is key. I'm always looking, and maybe at times where people don't get on is maybe because I've seen things that are not great, and that ain't aimed at Flo, but they have to. Everybody's got to be on the same page, and the same page as is doing their incredible best to get results for the football club. So there's no doubt over the next 3 games that is an area where I've got to get right, and I suppose maybe I haven't got it as right as I would have liked to have got it, or the coaching staff. But me personally, I take that responsibility. What I would say is, please come on, somebody out of that 5 players, take hold of it, take hold of the situation, and come out and saying it's me, and it's either one of you 4. That's what I'd like. Or 2 of them go, it's us 2, and you 3 have got to do what you need to do to get into the team. But at the moment, they need to do better, and that's me being honest and open. I've said it to the faces, so why wouldn't I say it to you? And I keep saying to you, I'm this honest manager, and all this. I'm not chucking people under the bus. And I hear this, I'm protecting players. You don't need to protect them because it's obvious. We haven't took enough of our chances, and the forwards haven't done well enough. I would say, from our point of view, it was quite a difficult January, so that's quite difficult there. But I thought these boys, especially all of these younger boys as well, and there's an international in there that should be doing better, and there's Duncan, and there's 3 young boys. They want to play at the highest level. They want to play at this football club. They want to play top-end Championship or play in the Premier League. They have to deal with all that pressure. You've seen what it is from a social media point of view, press point of view. So they've got to deal with a demanding manager. End of. Not end of chat between me and you, Craig. Just end of.
Just finally from me though, Chris. You mentioned on Saturday, I didn't pick up on it on the time to be honest, but when I listened back, you mentioned 2 centre backs injured, meaning you after the case all. I presume is that Grant Hall? Has he had a setback?
No, Grant had a tight hamstring, so he wasn't involved. Did I? Oh. Was it 2? Yeah. So Grant obviously wasn't on the bench on Saturday, but he's back involved. Yeah. He just had he just felt his hamstring over the weekend, so there was I couldn't really risk it because obviously with Dell's situation. Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah.